I'm Craig. I'm the principal at a school called Westgate Elementary School, and we are about 700 students. And most of my students are not, English is not their first language. Spanish is their first language, most of our students. And 700 students, we have, the ages are from 4 years old to up to about 10 years old. And then they go on to the next level outside of my school. So but we're here learning from you guys and what we can do differently and how can we help our students achieve at very high levels. So if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
You said they are like very young and they use Spanish as their first language. So how do you actually get effective communication with them? They are young and they're using a foreign language. So how do you guys communicate?
Well, we communicate in English. It's a lot harder in the primary when they're 4 and 5 and 6 years old. But we use a lot of visuals. We have some bilingual teachers, so they speak English and Spanish. And we have what we call a parent liaison, and so she speaks Spanish and so she helps us communicate with our parents as well. But typically, our kids that are very young, 4 and 5 years old, learn English pretty quickly. They learn it a lot faster than I can learn it, me being a lot older. So, but that's one thing. It is a challenge. But by the time that students are in 3rd grade, what we call 3rd grade, which they're about 8 years old, 9 years old, they're speaking English pretty well. But we have a lot of emphasis on that in the early years.
So do you face any challenges?
We face a lot of challenges. We're always trying to get our parents involved. It's a hard thing to do sometimes, to get our parents involved in their education. We also we have kids that learn at different rates. So we have kids that don't learn as fast as other kids. So we have to figure out how can we meet the needs of all of our kids in one classroom. And we're always struggling, making sure that our kids are achieving at high levels and that we keep our expectations of students high because we want to continue to motivate our kids. Not all of our kids are as motivated as you guys are. And so we want to make sure that they can see that there is a future for them, that they do have dreams, but in order to realize those dreams, they have to work very hard in school and be educated.
Usually, it's hard to find students and their principal in good terms because they're always trying to rebel. So how would you make sure you and your students are good at par? You're at good terms with your students?
With me and my students? Well, they see me all the time. I'm with them all the time. So I'm not a headmaster or principal who stays in my office a lot. So I'm out with kids, eating lunch with them. I mentor kids as well. I go to their events. So really, what I try to focus on is relationships. And so they all know me, and so when I walk into a classroom, they know who I am. They've met my kids. I have 4 children of my own, and so they know my kids. They see my kids, and so we try to make sure that our relationship is very strong between the two of us, and that they can come to me and talk to me when they have concerns, and they know that I'm a principal who will listen. So, but it starts with a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Why did you decide to use Spanish in your school? Why did you decide maybe to use French, Latin? Why did you decide to use Spanish?
Sure. Good question. Because most of my students, almost all of my students, come from a Latin American country.
Okay.
And so they, their parents are from, a lot of our parents are from El Salvador or from Mexico, and the language that they come with is Spanish. So because their parents speak Spanish, we have our students that speak Spanish. And so by the time our students leave us, they have 2 languages. They have Spanish and English. But that's why we did that.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe the second question I have is like maybe you talk to the principal, the strategies he uses to establish the students so that students can pass, can perform very well. How can you compare the education system to your system back in the US?
Sure, that's a good question. You guys have a lot of good questions. There's a lot of similarities. Because we have we're from Virginia, which is right outside Washington, D.C., the capital, and we have what they call standards of learning tests that students must pass to graduate. And so in the elementary level, we have to get our kids passing the standards of learning tests, very similar to your tests that you'll be sitting for in order to go on to the next level. So very similar. The curriculum, we sat in some classrooms this morning, and the curriculum sounds very similar to the curriculum that we teach. But I think there's a lot of similarities between the two. You know, from Rwanda to the U.S., very similar.
Okay. I'd like just like back in the U.S. Do you usually concentrate on only studies, or you usually also have some curricular activities or some other activities after classes?
Yeah. Our focus is our academics. Our focus is our English, math, science, and social studies, and writing. But we have tried to, since I became principal at the school, which is 2 years ago, we have tried to incorporate other activities like sports. We have a girls' sports running club. We have a boys' sports club, basketball, soccer. We have a girls', it's called GEMS, Girls in Engineering, Science, and Math, and so it's an after-school curriculum activity where they learn about engineering and science careers that they can do. They just, at the end of the year, they fired off rockets in the air, was their activity. So we try to look for other ways to incorporate things outside of academics into their education to make sure that they're well-rounded.
Okay. Like most of the times, children are usually cut out or are put on the market, like they compete for jobs. Sometimes where they go to compete for jobs, they also consider talents. Do you always like motivate children to use their talents, or it's just doing those elementary sciences, whatever? Like actually, that's good.
Yeah, good question. We try to help students identify their talents, and then figure out where they could best be fit. That's a challenge for us in my school. Is to a lot of my kids don't see what opportunities can lie ahead for them. And so if I asked some of my students what they want to be when they graduate from high school, what they want to do, a lot of my students will say, I don't know. And so we tried to, just a few weeks ago, we had, as we finished up school, we're on break right now, we had a lot of different career, people that had different careers come in and talk with our kids. We had a helicopter come in, a pilot come in and talk with our kids, so to give them an idea of what are the options available for them. And so that would be a question I have for you guys. How did you decide that you maybe wanted to go into law or to be a doctor or to be a leadership? How did you guys, was there somebody who helped you identify your talents, or?
Okay, like me,
Yeah.
I have like main talents, as I can say. I have the talent of leadership and also a talent of singing. So those are all my talents. Cause like when I was student, I was motivated to sing. I grew up in singing, and I got used to that. I found that it was my talent. So they motivated me, and I also motivated myself. And also leadership, because people could give me their trust, and they believe me that I can lead them. That one also could help me to get motivated to become a good leader. If somebody believes that you can lead him and take him somewhere, you transform his life or her life. That means you're somebody big in that person's life, so you get motivated by that reason.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Oh, well, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer because I love arguing, I love arguments, I love arguments, and I love expressing myself and seeing other people express themselves. And I'm a little inquisitive. I want to know about a lot of things. So, and something else, my personality, I want to reach out to people, be compassionate, and one way of doing that is helping someone be heard in one way or the other. Thank you.
That's great. Any questions for me? Give us any ideas on how we could, I would love to be able to have some of our students be able to write you guys and talk with you guys, because you guys are obviously very highly successful and highly motivated. And I'm always looking for ways to motivate our kids. And I think the best way to motivate kids is from other students to talk with them about their experiences. And I think you talked about that a little bit, but one of you talked about it, but you want to do better because you have other people around you that are doing that. So what advice would you have for my students?
Actually, maybe what I can say about it is like connecting a communication channel between us and the students, right? Maybe the first thing you can do is you have reached our school and the HM, the principal talk to him. We are here in the school compound. Maybe you can be writing the letters to your students. You can be communicating via Skype. Your students have IT tools. And you can also be able to communicate your students and tell them the story of our lives, and then they study from wherever they are.
That'd be great.
That's the idea I have.
Okay, awesome.
Well, about advice, I'm not good at that, but all I know, what I've been told all my life is that there is nothing like success in this life without discipline. So you have to be disciplined in order for you to succeed and love people.
That's good advice.
Thank you.
Okay, I think my advice is you should always tell them to have a dream. Because if you have a dream, then you will be ever thinking of your dream, and then you will ever feel like you want to reach on it. Yeah, they should be having a dream.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Something you can say about the advice, as Makoina said, to connect the bridge between us and your students. Like when you become close to each other, most of the times we are not influenced by the people we usually live in. As some people say that there's no king at his home, or you can't be a prophet at your home. They don't believe you. So like if you connect us and we interchange our ideas, they'll get to know that these people might be telling us something true, and that will encourage. Like as he said, via Skype, the email, we can be sending you some articles, you give them out, they discuss. And also, like my sister here, and Sharon, I once taught the Sunday school kids. So what brings children close to you is your relationship. If you become close to your students and interchange ideas, they will get used to you, and whatever you tell them, they will get it very fast, and they will get to know that what he or she is telling us, it's right, we have to do it, because you're too close to each other.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Well, an advice that I can give is that should be connected to your students. Most of the kids are wondering they need this parental love, they need this care. Well, you should engage in their activities like running, soccer, maybe, be there for them. Ask them what do you want to be, what do you like doing. Just like ask them what ideal nomads can you teach me? Can you ask them their areas of defeat, and so that you can connect, have that. They can have that love. They can show. They can see that love in you, that you're always there for them.
Another thing that I'd like to say, for us, we are in a Christian environment institution, so we were raised in studying God's word. So there's a saying, they say that God's word transforms the mind, education informs the mind. So what I would like maybe to advise you is help your kids get up through Jesus Christ, because if you get your students being governed by Christian values, I think also they are going to set priorities that will be similar to the biblical theories. So this will help them really much, because like us, you can't be indisciplined when you're in a Christian environment that will make you maybe be in a straight line. So you should put the Christian values as your first priorities in life, and then you can achieve each and everything you want.
Yeah, it's great advice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want something. Usually in my class, we have one teacher who always comes in and is like, Marion, give us Sharon's vision. I think you can always use that. I know they are kids, they always change their mind. Every day you can ask them now, and they're like, I want to be a lawyer tomorrow, it's different. But when you make it constant, they come up with one great thing that they want to actually follow in life. So I think you should always remind them, ask them about their vision.
So having each student ask each
Yeah,
other, having
yeah.
so you guys
Let
knew
them-
you guys
yeah.
knew your
Exactly.
that is great. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
So something simple advice that I would like to give, like as Makwena said, when they exchange those ideas, and you get a certain teacher that will be helping them. If a certain kid has the talent of singing, you encourage that kid in music. They also promote their talents. Their talents also will help them to determine what they want to become in the future.
Thank you.
And also having a connection between the administrators and then their parents. Also, it's a very good to have a relationship with the media and communication with the parents, because the parents they host kids home, and then for you host them at school, so they can help them to maintain their visions and dreams.
Thank you all very, very much for your time. Very much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. I think the future of Rwanda is very, very positive.
Yeah.
So,
The
looking,
kids have amazing ideas. You can't even know where they get from, you know. I never taught them that. Yeah.
And and I want you guys to know, just this isn't just for show. I mean, I really take your suggestions to heart, and something that I will that I want to take back and do something with, because I think that we have a lot to learn from what you guys are doing and from your ideas, and so thank you for sharing so openly with us. We really appreciate it.